Welcome back into another edition of Tavern Takes. I'm Josh. I will be your host tonight. I have a very special guest with me. Some of you might know him as Moose in the Morning. If all you Fond du Lac folks that have listened to 107.1 The Bull, he is no longer that anymore. Now I think he just goes by Trace. So,
I know.
uh,
Actually, it's still Moose. It's still Moose.
um, Trace, how you been, buddy? I mean, it's been a while. I
Yeah,
haven't talked to you for a while, but
yeah, dude.
you're
It's been.
you're a
It's
bigwig now, so.
oh man. Hey, listen. Every time you get the opportunity to say to somebody, "I make YouTube videos for a living, and I get paid to do that full time," it's a good feeling. I'm not gonna lie. But recently, since I've moved from Fond du Lac, which is, let's see, about 6 months ago now, actually, I moved beginning of October of 2024. Now it's April of 2025. So, yeah, 6 months. I'm now currently in Dallas, Texas. I work for a company called Chat Sports, and we specialize in YouTube content creation for the NFL and the NBA. So, every day I get to create videos about NFL players and NFL teams, and it's living the dream, man. I love it. I love every second of it.
That's my goal. When Tavern takes off, I'm gonna be hitting you up for a job. So,
Hey, man, let's go. Let's go. Love it. Let's get on it.
so little preface of what we're gonna be doing today. Trace is unfortunately a Bears fan, so we do kind of want to have a little discussion
Unfortunately.
about that. So it's primarily going to be NFC North talk today, draft needs for our teams, and
Mhm.
maybe just some predictions heading into the early season here, with the draft being around the corner in about a couple weeks. Trace, real quick, are
Yeah.
you going to the draft?
There is no word yet from the bosses. Usually, our company sends about 5 to 6 people a year to the NFL draft. This year, because we've been going under some office renovations and we've been expanding our studios, there hasn't been word on if we're actually sending people this year. So it most likely will pick up next year. However, now I can't say that I'm going to go. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So before we get into it, I just want to say this podcast is brought to you by Mitchell Wroblewski's promo code. Use promo code FAPSTERS at shankitgolf.com. He Let me remind you, he is an ambassador for shankitgolf.com. Use promo code FAPSTERS and you will get, I believe it's 10% off clothing off of that store. Trace, it's actually pretty cool golf clothing. So I will
Listen, if it's
I will
got
say.
Shank in the word and Mitch is the promoter of that, it makes total sense.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
having played golf with both of you,
Mitchell's worse. So let's just go with that.
that is true. That is true. You're a better golfer.
All right. So draft needs. You being a Bears fan, I personally actually think in free agency you guys did very well. Um, I hate to say that as a Packer fan because you just kind of hate to see it, and I think you guys are going to be more on the come up in the next couple of years here. Where do you still see holes heading into the 2025 draft that you feel is necessary for this team, moving forward here?
Well, let's start with what the Bears did in free agency and what they added to their team. So they went out, they traded for Joe Tooney from the Chiefs, signed Drew Dahlman, center from the Falcons. They traded for Jonah Jackson, who is the left tackle for the Rams. They've actually moved him inside to right guard. So they flipped him on the opposite end. So those three particular positions, and we all know the Bears' offensive line last year was one of the worst in NFL history. Caleb Williams got
It
sacked 67 times,
was
which
bad.
is the fourth most in NFL history. Crazy. With that being said, we addressed the biggest issues: center, left guard, and now right guard. So we have a right tackle in Darnell Wright that's been pretty solid his first 2 years in the league. And left tackle Braxton Jones is probably still the biggest question mark. He has up and down moments. The one thing that I think the Bears did really well in free agency is, instead of going into the draft and risking it all on a player straight out of college to fill the biggest position of need, the Bears went and they said, we're going to overpay and sign players and trade for players that we know have given guaranteed success at the highest level. So that way, when it comes to a position that's maybe not necessarily as high of a need, which I'll get to in a second, we can take a risk on a player who's young, cheap, and needs time to develop. So what are those positions of need right now for the Bears? Well, the first one that comes to my mind is a running back. DeAndre Swift last year, we went out and signed him in free agency, and his first year as a Chicago Bear, kind of disappointing, especially for the amount of money that we paid him. He's still got 2 years left on his deal, and I believe we paid him a 3-year, $42 million contract.
Ooh.
So for what you're getting from DeAndre Swift, which is not a 30-down back, he's a more in-space, pass-catching, get him outside on a crack play. He's not a north to south runner. He's east to west. He's got lateral quickness, not breakaway speed, and he's not big enough to get and generate those yards after contact after, that first initial hit on the line of scrimmage. That's why you saw multiple times last year, he'd get hit on the line and he'd fall forward and only be a gain of 1. He's not strong enough to push forward. So I think the Bears are going to try and do something pretty risky. My prediction is the Bears are going to call up the Raiders at 6. And they're going to say, we're going to go after Ashton Genty to pair with Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and this brand new Bears offensive line. If that doesn't work out and the Bears end up staying at 10, do not be surprised if the Bears go edge rusher, which is their second biggest area of need, because Montez Sweat last year, although a great pass rusher, is not at the level of a Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, or Micah Parsons.
Right.
He's more of he's a great complement. Like if he's the best number 2 edge rusher in the league. You need a player in the draft to complement and get on the opposite side of him, because once defenses started double teaming him, he was a ghost. He only had 5.5 sacks last year. So I think the Bears could be targeting either Jalen Walker, the edge out of Georgia.
Yep.
A lot of people speculate that he's going to go to Carolina, or Mike Green, edge rusher out of Marshall, who probably haven't heard of his name, but let me tell you this. Last year, 60 pressures, 23 tackles for loss, 17 sacks in 12 games played. Dang. This dude's going to be a stud. And get this, his pre-draft comp, all of the analysts are talking, Khalil Mack. And who played for the Bears before?
I was going to say, that's just disgusting for me to hear that, because I would hate that.
He's a faster version of Khalil Mack. Maybe not as strong, but definitely faster and got the same size.
Yeah. I definitely kind of was under the assumption that you guys are going to be trading up to. Like my first thought, like gun to my head, what are the Bears going to do? Genty. And I'm terrified of that. I'm absolutely terrified of that, because I think you guys are one running back away from being an extremely good offense. Extremely good. You guys got the wide receiving core. Did Keenan Allen resign with you guys or not? Is he still a free agent?
Yeah, okay. He's officially he's out of the Bears. The Bears are not going to retain him. He's not going to re-sign with the Bears. Most likely what's going to end up happening is he's going to end up re-signing with the Chargers, which is
sure.
He kept his house out in LA even when he was in Chicago. So you kind of knew it was just a stopping point. He'll restructure his deal and sign something maybe, a lot smaller and go back to Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh.
But either way, I mean, you guys got the wide receiving core. You guys are adding offensive line talent. You get that. You got your quarterback of the projected future, I would assume, as long as they don't shit Caleb Williams away like they do every other quarterback. But assumingly that it all works out with Caleb, you're one running back away from being really freaking good. I hate that as a Packer fan, because we got to hate on each other, right? We hate, of
course. But let me ask you this: when's the last time that you saw a competent, offensive-minded genius as a head coach in Chicago?
Never.
That's my point. So.
Yeah.
Everybody says the same thing. I hear this from all the Packers fans that I still keep in contact with. It's the Bears. They say the same thing every year. Off-season champs. You guys are going to suck next year anyway. Keep in mind who we now have as a head coach. The number 1 play caller in the last 2 years in the NFL.
So now, and this is honestly a question. This is not me poking the bear at you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No pun intended. But so obviously best play caller, best offensive coordinator, let's say, hands down in the last 2 years, right?
Yes.
Um, but we've seen it before how coordinators, they do an amazing job in a couple of years, they become a head coach and then they flake out. Are you concerned of your now new coach being kind of a flake out and being a better coordinator than he is a head coach?
Well, so when Ben Johnson was hired back on January 17th, I had the exact same question that you're asking me. And our Bears host, Harrison Graham at Chat Sports, we like to powwow about our favorite team because he's a now converted Bears fan.
What was he originally?
Oh, he grew up in Dallas, so he was a
Okay.
Cowboys fan growing up. But
Those two are just terrible. All right.
he
Anyway.
is the like. Trust me when I tell you this. He doesn't even follow the Cowboys anymore. He's all Bears all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
We had the same question marks. However, as we heard the things that Ben Johnson was saying and the moves that he's made in the offseason so far, and the conversations surrounding Caleb Williams and the offensive pieces and what they've kind of already set in place from a standards perspective, it leads me to believe that he's doing this the right way. He's not coming in just saying, look at me, hot shot. I got my quarterback and I'm going to scoot away from everybody else. He
Right.
called out all of the Bears players at his opening press conference. And he said, whatever you think this is going to be, you're wrong. It's going to be hard work. This is going to be difficult. I'm going to make your life hell. But in that process, we're going to make you guys winners. We are going to reshape the very foundation and the very fabric of the Bears organization from it's just a defensive culture to now this is a franchise that is going to be competing for Super Bowls starting this year. And I don't think the Bears, look, 9-8, 10-7, high end, 11-6, low end, 7-10. So we're anywhere between 7 and 11 wins this year.
I think that's fair. That's probably actually my analysis on the Bears also. And, I remember one conversation last year that we had while we were golfing about you predicting the Bears to be like an 11-12 win team last year.
Yeah, that was a bad take.
That was a bad take. Just wanted to call you out on it. But
I trusted Matthew Charles Eberflus far too great, and that was
I think
the
a lot
biggest.
of Bears fans. I think a lot of Bears fans did though.
Thank God that scrub is out of our lives. He's so bad.
Yeah,
he's now in Dallas, by the way, defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. So good luck to him.
Yeah, good luck to him. Yeah, I think that would just be my biggest concern, honestly. Is he going to be a better coordinator? Or is he going to be a good head coach? From everything that you've said, it sounds like it's all right, but it's not the season yet.
Yes.
It's always, to me, for the Bears. No offense, but it's always like let's see what happens. I'm a Packer fan, so I do say it's the Bears. We'll see what happens. Got to take your shots because honestly, they still got to prove me wrong a little bit. I mean, but I think you're on a very good path. And I think it's a terrifying path for the North because the North is the best division in football now.
I mean, when you look at Colin Cowherd said this the best, you could make an entire Pro Bowl team with just NFC North players alone.
It's insane.
Every single team has 1 or 2 or 3 star players in the NFL. I mean, Detroit, they've got Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side. Minnesota, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. We think that J.J. McCarthy is going to play. Aaron Jones, T.J. Hawkinson. And then on the Packers, Jalen Reed, Josh Jacobs, Jair Alexander, Jordan Love. So, and the Bears, DJ Moore. Roma Dunze, we think, is going to be great.
I think Roma Dunze is going to be good.
Yeah. Montez Sweat, Jalen Johnson. So all of these names could field one particular Pro Bowl team in the NFL. So the NFC North is just, they're loaded.
And then we don't even talk about the offensive lines and stuff either. Like all the offense. Okay, outside of the Bears, obviously. Yeah, obviously not the Bears. But, in the majority, these 3 other teams have good offensive lines too.
Correct.
it's insane, man. It's the NFC North is best division of football, and I'll die on that hill.
Yes, 100%. I could not agree more with you.
Yeah.
That is one of the most chalk takes in all of football, but it is for a reason. It's Duke basketball, right? Like,
Right.
it's it just is what it is. The NFC North is loaded.
This is football. I mean, this is
Yeah,
hard-nosed football, and I love it because there's just like watching the transition over the last couple years, and we'll get into the predictions of what we think, but like watching the transitions of, over the last couple of years of watching the NFC North kind of grow, like the Lions' emergence now with Dan Campbell and the Vikings kind of being a little hit or miss, but now they've kind of stayed consistent over the last, say, 10 years maybe. Um, Packers have always been good, but then like now the Bears moving forward now into the future too. Man, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting football. I cannot fucking wait for football season.
Well, I mean, let's be real. The Packers are a couple of draft picks away this year from winning the division as well. And I think, as we transition to talking about the Packers' biggest draft needs, the thing that comes to my mind clearly is pass rusher. Like,
Yeah.
outside of let's be can I call a spade a spade? This is no shade thrown at Packers fans. Is
No, go for
Lucas
it.
Van Ness a bust? Because where the fuck has this dude, like, he has no production. He's got
Hey,
one move. He bullies you straight away. He's just gonna truck you. He's got no swim move. He's got no agility off the edge. Like, I'm sorry, he doesn't look like your franchise edge rusher.
I'll give you the Brian Gutekunst answer. His third year is gonna be a hell of a jump. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
Let's just
I've
say
heard
that.
I've heard that too. Another area I think that so where do you guys pick this year? 23?
23, yes, 23.
23.
Yep, 23.
Right. So at 23, edge rushers that would be available at 23.
So
Brian Ezeraku out of Boston College comes to mind. He's been climbing up draft boards. Jared Ivey is another player kind of like Van Ness.
Yep, I was gonna say Jared Ivey. I also wouldn't be surprised though, and I know we're kind of on the defensive end talk, but I wouldn't be surprised if we go D tackle also.
Yeah.
Kenny Clark is truly our front four is terrible. I like on the
It's not
defensive
good.
side, our front four is terrible. We cannot. I wouldn't be surprised if we go D tackle either. Derek Harmon comes to mind, and I've actually seen him on a lot of mocks. For us being our first pick. Actually, I'm even looking at just a simple, quick little mock for us. Walter Nolan, Ole Miss. But
Keep the 49ers at 11 have been linked to Walter Nolan like crazy lately. I don't think Walter Nolan's going to be there. But here's another name I'm going to throw at you. Ready? Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan. And Kenny Grant started his career at Michigan State, transfers to Michigan. And when I tell you, oh no, I might be getting that confused with another player, but he ended his career at Michigan.
yep,
This dude has elite athleticism. Do you know Jordan Davis from Philadelphia is like 6'8", 350 pounds?
yeah, he's
That
insane.
out of
Yep,
Georgia a couple years ago.
yep,
You're looking at a guy. Maybe he doesn't have the same measurables as Jordan Davis, but the freakish athleticism and size like that. So he's like a compact version of Jordan Davis. I mean,
yeah,
he's catching up to running backs when they're taking off downfield.
yeah. That's
So
crazy.
adding a guy like him to stuff the middle is something that I think you really need. Walter Nolan would be a great pick because he's a true nose tackle, so he automatically stops the run. But I don't think that your biggest need outside of edge is defensive tackle. Can I throw another position out that you guys need big time?
Wide receiver.
Thank you.
My pipe dream is Emeka. However the hell you, yeah,
Egmeka Buka.
Ohio State guy. He's my pipe dream. But here's the problem though. And I've come to terms on this being a Packers fan since the Goody era. I'm in the boat that I don't mind how Goody picks. I don't like his first picks. His first round picks I do not like. second through 6, 7, he's usually pretty spot on. Now that being said, first round, since that's what we're talking about, he could pick a guy who's supposed to go in the third round for all I know and just reach on him because this is just what he does. And I can throw out who I think would be who I want. Emeka is obviously one that's probably my number one. Like, I hope we do this. I hope he falls to us. Blah blah blah. Defensive end, defensive tackle, corner. I don't really care which way we go, but I wouldn't be surprised if we go like a safety or something just stupid because
Nick
linebacker,
Evenwari,
you
South
know,
Carolina safety. Yeah,
linebacker, just something.
yeah.
It won't. I will not be shocked because this is what he does, and anytime we as Packer fans think that Gutenquist has something on the board that we know, and we get to the pick and we're like, oh, we want that guy. Throws a fucking curveball every single time. Who's this? you know?
So I'm glad you mentioned corner. The truth is that if you drafted Mika Ibuka, it is kind of a reach because this wide receiver class is not loaded. The number one
Right.
wide receiver in
Yeah.
this entire draft is Tet McMillan, and even he has been sliding on draft boards. Call it what you will, it's just not a very good wide receiver class.
Right.
There is a guy that I want to throw your way, and I would be furious if the Packers received him because I think this guy is a lockdown corner for years to come. He's going to make a bunch of Pro Bowls. Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky.
Yep.
Ran a 4.29 at the combine. So this guy is lightning fast. He's got elite zone coverage skills. And the NFL has shifted now from a man press coverage to zone coverage because of the amount of passing that's done in today's game.
Yep.
So as the NFL shifts back to a zone coverage skilled safeties are all the rage. He's got a nose for the football. So on the point of attack, when a receiver comes out of his break, he knows exactly where to jump the route. He's got that speed that you're talking about, so he's not going to be beat off the top. So when a player like Tyreek Hill tries to blow by him, Maxwell is going to be there right there, step for step, 4.29. He's a little slight for the position. He's a little slender, but putting on weight has never been an issue for really any player. It's just, nutrition plans, add 5 to 10 pounds, no big deal. So he's not like the only one weakness that I think you see from the guy is his rookie year. Could he get bullied off the go up against a DK Metcalf? Good luck. Like that, he's just going to bury you. But put on 10 to 15 pounds, learn how to leverage your weight, move it inside, push him outside. I think you're looking at a guy that's going to make 3 to 4 Pro Bowlers. I mean, he's a stud. Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky.
And I'm glad we're kind of talking corner real quick here because to me this is an ongoing battle. I think in Packerland on what we're gonna do as far as the cornerback position goes. Obviously, bringing in Nathan Hobbs out of the Raiders in free agency. I still wonder if Jair is gonna be a Packer. I don't think so. I think he's gonna be a June 1st guy. It's going to be the summer that he's going to be gone. However, there's still rumors spiraling around that we're just going to restructure his contract and he's staying. And I don't personally see it happening. So let's just start there.
All right.
But if it does, we're not going corner, obviously. So,
well, not necessarily.
We'll go corner, but it'll be a later round. It won't be.
Correct.
I don't think it'll be in the first round.
And outside of 4 or 5 corners in this draft, it's a week. After these 4 or 5 corners get taken, you forget about it. They suck. But the one thing I'll say about Jair is I don't mind the attitude. I don't mind the off the field BS. That doesn't concern me. What concerns me is the attitude, and now you're injured.
Yeah.
You can't be both. You can't be injury prone and have a piss poor attitude. If you're going to have that attitude, you've got to be available to play, brother, and still give me the production that we're looking for.
I agree.
You can act a diva all you want, but you better be fucking producing on the field. And the problem is that last year, he's still running his mouth, same Jair that we all know and love, and he's injured. So now you're not available and you're a headache. That's grounds for get this man off my team.
Brother,
So,
you are preaching to the choir, brother.
however, you will not see a single thing done until after the draft. So keep your eye on this draft. If the Packers decide to draft a corner in round 1, it's as good as done that Jair is going to be off the team
I
post
agree.
June 1st.
Yes, I agree.
If they go wide receiver, if they go defensive tackle, you could be looking at a restructuring of the contract that pushes more money down the road. However, if I'm a Packers fan, I'm ready to move on. Let some other team deal with him. And he's getting older too, right? Like, I'm not saying he's, out of his prime, but as you get, corner is one of those positions, man, that once you get into the mid 30s, your production starts to dip down. So
Yeah,
as he
and
inches his way closer to that number, I don't want to be paying big time, big boy money to Jair Alexander, especially because Derek Stingley and Christian Benford both just got the bags at corner. Stingley got $90 million. 3 years, $90 million, $30 million a year. What do you think Jair's going to ask for?
uh,
25 minimum.
yeah.
So I think it is time to move on from
I do, and I
Jair.
do too. Like, with all this being said and all these rumors spiraling around, me as the Packer fan on this podcast, I do too. Like, I'm ready for it. I love Jair. I've been a Jair stan since the beginning.
Mhm.
Your best ability is availability, and you are never available anymore, brother. Like,
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's annoying. He's a hell of a player when he's healthy,
Mhm.
but you're never on the field, man. Like,
Yep.
it's the same thing with Christian Watson too. I love Christian Watson. I do. The guy's never on the field. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And now he
And
doesn't. Now he doesn't run his mouth. He's a very quiet guy. His
yeah.
dad runs his mouth on Twitter. So
And again, that's another reason why the Packers need to address wide receiver at some point in this draft,
right,
because
it's gonna
you have
happen.
wide receiver by committee. In most cases, it's running back by committee, where you see like, hey, we've got 3 or 4 really good running backs that we kind of rotate. That's how the Packers wide receiver room is. You don't have a certified number 1. You just have a bunch of really good, capable players. The
Well,
problem is that Jordan Love, being Mr. Interception that he is, has yet to find that balance and that rhythm to where he can consistently stack awesome performance after awesome performance. He'll give 2 great weeks in a row where you're like, MVP Jordan Love. And
yeah.
then the next week you're like, who's the backup? Can we put this guy in? Like, Jesus Christ, get him off the field. So
So I'm glad you said this, and we'll I want to bring this up real quick because I think this is funny that you brought up the Jordan Love like interceptions, MVP, whoever you are.
yeah,
Like, I want to bring something up quick before we kind of transition into like kind of our predictions for our team in the NFC North
sure.
moving forward here. But a little while back, we had a hot takes podcast where we all came up with like 6, 7 hot takes, right? And
Mhm.
we kind of rated on a scale of 1 to 10 of like, where these hot takes kind of fall into line. Now, this is before like DK signed with or got traded to the Steelers. This
Yeah.
is before, all the wide receiver movement that happened. So I was like, oh, Packers might get DK or Packers might get Devontae Adams or something like that. So this is before all that. Now, before all that though, one of my hot takes, and I want to have you rate it just because I'm curious on where you stand since you brought up Jordan Love. One of my hot takes was if the Packers get one of DK or Devontae, now you could pick whoever you want, I guess, for a wide receiver 1. But let's say a solidified wide receiver 1, right?
Mhm.
Packers get a solidified wide receiver 1. Jordan Love inserts himself as a top 3 candidate for MVP. 1 to 10 hot scale, 10 being the hottest.
8, but let me be clear. I think you're on the right track with that take. I think he needs a little bit more than a wide receiver 1. Some of this is on Jordan Love. It's not
I
just
agree.
on the
I agree.
some of
No,
this is
I agree.
Jordan has to learn how to piece together a turnover-free football game, even if that means don't try to force it. Like there was a game that he played last year and I applauded him. Maybe it was the Vikings game. There was a game. No, either way, there was a game that he played where you guys won, and he threw for like 184 yards, 2 touchdowns, and completed 70% of his throws. He was like 18 of 22 for 184 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, passer rating of like 110. Even if it means that you have to sacrifice the big, flashy stat line.
Yep.
Take the win, brother. Take the guaranteed. Dump it down. Inch your way closer. The best quarterbacks of all time, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, they have the ability to make the flashy plays, but 80% of the time, 80% of the time, it's the easy, like, layup throw. We called Tom Brady Captain Checkdown forever, but it works. So
it works.
What I think about Jordan Love, going back to your take, if I could scale that back to like a 5, and I say this, getting a certified number 1, like a DK Metcalf, like a Devontae Adams, it will certainly help towards your take. There's no doubt about it. However, you need a number 1 wide receiver, but Jordan also needs to kind of like, okay,
chill.
Where am I? Like, can I give you 5 games a year where I'm hero Jordan Love?
Mm-hmm.
The other 12, let me go out and be Captain Checkdown. 5 games a year, I want Jordan Love to give me 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick or 2 is fine. Like, in a game where he has to throw the ball 45 times, fine. Chuck it. I don't care. Throw to your heart's content. But in a game against the Panthers, and you're already, it should look like an easy win. Manage the game. Manage the game in front of you. And that's a lot of, like, I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to show he's worth the money. He's got the talent. He's as good as Favre. He's as good as Rodgers. Be Jordan Love. Lead this team the way you need to lead this team, not the way the other 2 guys before you did it.
I am intrigued to see, and I loved kind of hearing this in the offseason, that Matt LaFleur challenged him to be like more of a leader on this team this year. And as a Packer fan, you never see him talking. He's always sitting, like if he's sitting down on the sideline, defense is on the field or whatever, he's just sitting there quiet, Brother, I want to see you juiced up at least once. Like, not after you throw a touchdown, not after you're celebrating your team, after somebody misses a catch or somebody runs the wrong route and that's why you threw a pick. Something like, we watched Aaron Rodgers chew people's ass out on the field. I kind of want to see that in you a little bit. Tom Brady too, same thing. Fucking ream people out. I just want to see it a little bit. Doesn't have to be that extent. Just a little bit. Just want to see it a little bit.
Michael Jordan had a quote, and it's kind of the yin to this yang that we're talking about. But Michael Jordan said, a true competitor can talk shit when they're down by 20 and there's 5 minutes left because they believe that much in their ability. Simultaneously, if you're down, 3 touchdowns halfway through the second quarter, I need you to be in your team's ear telling them we're still in this. We still got the dog in us. We're going to fight, get up. And right now, as a younger quarterback, he's clearly lacking the leadership capabilities that we're looking, or that you're looking for. I don't want to say we. Ugh, why would I ever say we?
No, you can say
from
that
a
again.
From a fan's
run this back.
From a fan's perspective, I hope he stays the same. But from a purely analytical level, as you get older and as the team looks to you and says, okay, you're our franchise guy, we've paid you the money, you're the leader of this team, you're the face of this team, be the face, be the leader.
Yep,
you'll see it come with time. Usually, if it doesn't happen, you got a bigger issue on your hands.
Right. Nope, I agree. I think Packer fans are kind of hoping the same thing too, honestly, everything that you said. You kind of gassed me up a little bit. I ain't going to lie.
What do you mean?
When you were, kind of be the guy, blah, blah, blah. You juiced me up, dude. I was ready to fucking run.
See, I'm telling you, like,
I was ready to run through a fucking wall, man.
Listen, when Packer football is good, the NFL is good. So, like, it's one of the largest. It's one of the largest fan bases that exists across the United States. Is you see it all the time. You just go down to the bottom part of Arizona, right before you get to the border of Mexico, And you'll find people wearing Packers jerseys and cheeseheads on Sunday. Like they're everywhere.
Yeah.
You're like cockroaches. We can't get rid of you.
That's
But
all right.
with that being said, when Packer football is good, things are great in the NFL. It's great for the brand. So being the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers comes with a tremendous amount of responsibility.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you're responsible for being the team's leader. So every single Sunday, I want your head through the fucking wall. I want you headbanging on, like, we're in this. We're going to win this. We're the fucking Green Bay Packers. We're the best franchise in the entire NFL. And we just don't see that from Jordan Love, at least not yet.
Not yet. Speaking of the Packers being good and going 17-0 this year, based off of vibes, we'll kind of do it based off of vibes. Kind of the vibes from end of last year, this offseason so far, and then heading into, like, say, the draft and then the presuming NFL season coming up here. Based off of basically vibes alone, where do you think some of these teams stand? Trajectory, like a range of records. I know the schedules haven't come out yet, just the team.
They come out in May. Yep.
But so, like, I'll kind of lead the way as far as, like, the Packers go. Like, I've seen the opponents. I just don't know the schedule yet. Obviously, I could still see this team being a 12-5 team, 13-4 team, probably at best. But at worst, I can see us going 9-8 at worst. I mean, I could see us being somewhere in that large range of 9 wins or 13 wins, just because that's just kind of who we are. And we're still trying to figure out how to win as a younger team.
Yep.
But I would say 13 wins cap, 9 wins floor, 9 wins floor, not making the playoffs. 13 wins might fucking not make the playoffs in the NFC North. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Well, so I agree with what you're saying in terms of the Packers. To me, if I had to summarize each team in the NFC North right now, the Packers to me would be the biggest question mark, because I don't know. I mean, you guys are good everywhere. You're not great anywhere.
Right.
So against elite teams, I think you saw this last year against the Lions, against the Vikings, against the Eagles in the playoffs. You guys got mollywopped. I mean, you just got the shit kicked out of you. It's very indicative of, like, we're good everywhere, but we're not great anywhere, because the great teams that we saw, they're going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
The Packers, to me, I like you said, I could see them going 8-9. I could see them winning 13 games. What Jordan Love are you going to get? What's the defense going to look like? Do you get another weapon? Like, there are so many unknowns right now surrounding the Packers. So I have to put a question mark around there. If I had to guess, I would say 10 wins, 10-7. And you'll probably end up fighting again for the 6th or the 7th seed in the wild card. I think the Vikings are the team that takes the biggest fall off.
Yep, I agree.
Let me ask you this question. When's the last time in any single season in NFL history do you remember two teams in the exact same or the exact same division both go 15-2 or 14-2, because it was a 16 game league?
Quite literally, I don't think it's ever happened.
Exactly.
It hasn't happened.
So it was the biggest anomaly that we have ever seen. Both of those teams are going to take a step back, but loss of Sam Darnold. You have a new rookie quarterback because he didn't play last year. He was injured.
Yep.
You're going to see the growing pains from J.J. McCarthy.
I agree. And what they had 15 wins, right? Last year. Was
they
it
went
14 or 15?
I think 14, actually. I think they went 14-3.
But nonetheless, 14, 15 wins, whatever. Yeah. 9 wins? 10 wins?
No. 7 or 8. 7 or 8 for the
Vikings. I'm actually glad he said that, because I was originally thinking that, and I didn't want to really reduce them, but I think they're really going to take a step back. JJ McCarthy is now, he's got arguably a top 2, if not the best coach in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin O'Connell's a great coach. Mastermind of a coach. He's Andy Reid level.
Unbelievable.
He's incredible. But players still have to execute, and you got a rookie quarterback. It's losing Sam Vikings, Darnold is a bigger deal than they think.
I also heard this. I think it was from Cowherd as well. The Vikings had 9 or 10 one possession wins last year.
That's
So
not going
like,
to happen again.
like under 6, like 6
Yep.
points or less. They went 9 or 10-0 in those games. That will not happen.
It's
They
not
didn't lose a
sustainable.
they didn't lose a single possession game. So every time that it was within 6 points, they won. That will never happen again.
It's not
It-
sustainable. That's
no,
not sustainable.
you're looking at probably 7-3 if you're lucky on that, but there's
Right.
3 more losses. So you automatically go down to 11-6. So
Right.
with a rookie quarterback, that statistic alone and the growing pains of a rookie quarterback system, plus they did add some. They had a really good offseason. I'll give them that. They added in some really nice offensive linemen from the Colts, signed Jonathan Allen. I think they've added pieces, but now the question becomes, can J.J. McCarthy play?
Yep.
And then with the Lions, they've lost both coordinators. So they're
Exactly.
still really talented. They're still going to be a very good team. I think 11 or 12 wins for the Lions again. But again, going to take a step back.
This to me is the biggest, like, and I don't mean this this is going to sound really weird because he's been a great head coach. So, like, take this with a grain of salt of what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be the biggest, like, who are you, Dan Campbell kind of thing. Because you just had 2 incredible coordinators for pretty much your longevity of your coaching career thus far.
Yes.
They are now both head coaches in the NFL. You got new guys in, but what are they going to do? Like, how can you head coach now? Like, this is now officially you until these coordinators kind of take off again.
Right.
So,
exactly right.
Who are you, Dan Campbell? That's
Well,
my take on the Lions this year. Who's Dan Campbell? Truly.
And I still think with I mean, look, they hardly. I don't think they lost hardly any players in free agency.
Right.
Maybe
The
maybe
roster is still talented.
Yeah, they signed DJ Reed from the Jets, so they added a really good cornerback to that struggling corner room. The Lions got plagued by injuries last year, so as they get back to healthy, you're going to see the talent still remain there. The question is, one, like you said, who are you, Dan Campbell? And 2, are your replacement coordinators going to be at even 70% as good as Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson?
Right.
And that's the biggest question mark. So if I were to sum up each team, and I'll get to the Bears here in just a second as we wrap up.
You're good.
Question mark for the Packers, regression for the Vikings, head coaching concerns and coaching concerns in Detroit. And then there's the Bears. And for the Bears, I would say up and coming. I
agree.
I don't think I think the Bears, I'm going to stake my claim right now. The Bears will go 9-8 next year. You are going to see you're going to see games where the Bears look like they're going to win the Super Bowl. I promise you. Next year, you will see it a handful of times. You're going to look at a game where the Bears play like the Cardinals, and we beat them 42-10. And you're going to be like, where the hell did that come from? And then you're going to see games against like the Eagles, and we're going to get slaughtered. And you're going to be like, okay, well, maybe we weren't as close as we thought. So you're going to see boy genius on display. Caleb Williams is going to have a couple of those games where he's like 350, 4 touchdowns. But you're also going to see the growing pains of a new system. So up and down year, it's going to be a roller coaster year. Bears fans got to get ready for it. But we're going to see flashes. And that's the scary thing.
My question to you as we wrap up, and we all know it, it's been said in the NFL a million times with a million quarterbacks. Are you concerned about a sophomore slump with Caleb Williams? It happens. I mean, I'm not saying it happens to everybody, but even like CJ Stroud this year has taken a step back. I mean, you saw it. I'll still say he's a top whatever, wherever you want to put him in the top 10-ish category of quarterbacks, but he regressed from his rookie year.
Okay.
Are you concerned about a sophomore slump?
Answer this question out loud. Answer these questions out loud for me. Did you have a good head coach last year?
Us as Packers or you
No,
as Bears?
Bears.
Okay. No.
Did you have a good offensive coordinator?
I know where you're going with this, so no.
Was your replacement offensive coordinator, was he good?
No.
Were you a rookie last year?
Yes.
Did you have one of the worst offensive lines in NFL history?
Yes. Like I said, I know where you're going with this. So
All
yes.
of those questions that I'm asking you not to be a dick, but I'm saying it out loud
That's
because
fair.
you quite literally had the worst possible scenario happen.
He was in a
for-
very bad scenario.
And no, not just a very bad, the worst possible scenario
Fair enough.
for any Bears quarterback outside of like back in the 90s when the Bears just sucked all the way around, and maybe Justin Fields. We had the worst head coaching. We had the worst coaching staff. We fired our defensive coordinator 3 games into the season. The FBI got called to his house. There were just crazy shit after crazy shit that was happening. And Caleb Williams, mind you, still threw for 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, and was second all-time at one point for most consecutive passes without an interception. So I'm going to answer your question long way and say we've got the best offensive-minded coordinator now turned head coach in the NFL. We're going to kill it in the draft. We've got a better offensive line. Roma Dunze and DJ Moore are still awesome. Rome's going to take the next step. We're going to get a capable running back. I think the question is not is he going to have the sophomore slump, but are we going to see the emergence of Patrick Mahomes 2.0?
I do remember when you were right before you were working where you work now and you had your show. Listening to one of your episodes and you kept calling Caleb Williams Patrick Mahomes 2.0, just rolling my eyes, just like, God, this fucking guy. We'll see, man. We'll see. I'll be honest, and I'll answer my own question by saying I'm scared of Caleb Williams.
You better be now.
I am
He's
scared.
coming.
And it wasn't even your hype up about him. When I used to work at where I worked, I was talking to a guy that I used to work with there too, saying that the Bears are on their eyes. I give it 2-3 years yet, but they're going to be just as competitive as the best in the NFC North.
Mm-hmm.
Still saying, I'm still giving it maybe like 2 years before that happens, but I'm slowly starting to get afraid of you guys. And to answer my own question, because I just wanted to kind of ask you and see, I don't think he's going to have a sophomore slump. I actually think you guys had a very good free agency as far as offensive line goes. I thought you guys, acquired what you needed to. I think that alone changes things completely before you even hit the draft.
Yes.
So
yes.
We'll see.
I'll leave you with this. The Bears have never, in their 100 years or whatever they've been a franchise for, they have never had a quarterback pass for over 4,000 yards in a single season. Not only is Caleb Williams going to do it this year,
crazy.
Not only is Caleb Williams going to do it this year, I'll bet you he's closer to 4,500 than he is 4,000. I'll bet you he's somewhere around 4,380 this year in terms of passing yards, over 30 touchdowns. His interceptions will go up. I'll give you, you're not going to throw 6 interceptions next year. 33 touchdowns, 9 picks.
Let's end it with this, because I'm curious if you'll do this. For the viewers, for the listeners, this could be potentially the second time we have a wager on Tavern Takes. And now we got a guest on the show. Let's just call it $20. Just something simple.
Okay.
$20. Would you up the stakes to have 4,500 yards and let's say 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns?
You're going to have to. How about this? I'll lower the call. We'll call it $10. We'll say $10, 4,000 yards, and 30 touchdowns.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
Trace says he'll do it. I say he won't. That's how we'll wrap up the show.
Virtual handshake it.
Virtual handshake. You can find me on Twitter at Tavern Takes or at Robo39. Trace, I know you work for Chat Sports and you are busy this time of year. Where can our people find you?
So if you want to go find us on YouTube, you can search Chat Sports. We have a long list of channels that you can choose from your favorite teams. We launched a Packers channel. Packers Report is up and running. It's got almost 3,000 subscribers. My guy Joey Peterson, love him to death. He also runs the Ravens channel. That's kind of how we do it at Chat Sports, is one AFC, one NFC team. He does a great job on the Ravens. He's been killing it on the Packers. Loves the green and gold. Can't understand why, but he does. So if you want to go give him a sub there. But again, Chat Sports on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Hell yeah. Thanks for listening. Trace, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a good night. We appreciate it.